Subscribe and click the bell icon for the latest updates and notifications from the Indian Express.
The lovely backdrop that you see behind me today is around the beautiful city of Jaisalmer in the desert, and the reason why we are here in the dunes here in this desert is because of the new 2019 Ford Endeavour. Now this is a minor update to the existing model, but the real reason why we are here is not to discuss those minor updates. Of course we'll tell you about them, but the idea is to test the famed off-road capabilities of Ford Endeavour in this natural habitat of the desert. So how does the Endeavour cope up and how does it fare out? Well, that's what we're going to find out in the show today. Now, before we dive deep into the off-road action, just let us take you briefly through the changes in the new Ford Endeavour. In terms of design, changes are few. There's an updated trapezoidal grille, which is symbolic to the Ford family. So yes, it's a little more prominent in terms of chrome. It protrudes a bit out, so it gives a little bit more dynamism to the design. Apart from that, the fog lamps are now integrated in the skid plate, and there are a new set of alloy wheels, 18-inch diamond cut alloy wheels on the side. Apart from that, there is no other design change in the car. One functional change, if you look at it from an exterior point, is that now you can open the tailgate with a kick or a swipe of your foot, and you can use the same action to close it back again. But apart from these changes, the Ford Endeavour remains the same. It has just gone on to become a little more premium. Now, talking about the changes inside the cabin, well, there are precisely 4 of them. The first one being the inclusion of a start-stop button. The second one being a minor update to the leather upholstery. And the third one is the inclusion of a new gear lever selector. So the selector is completely new in design. It gets a little bit more chrome, so it just gives the cabin a bit more premium appeal. Apart from that, the major change, which is the 4th one inside the cabin, is the addition of electrically adjustable option for the co-passenger seat. The older Endeavour had this option only for the driver's seat, but now both the seats get 8-way electrically adjustable seats, so that just adds to the convenience and the comfort levels of the cabin. Apart from that, there are no other changes inside. Everything else remains the same, and that's not something to complain, because the Endeavour has been the most feature-loaded SUV in its segment, and it continues to do so now with the update. So overall, if you look at it from a segment perspective, it is still the best SUV you can buy for the money if you talk about features, and that is its strength, and it continues to build on it. So now let's talk about the engine. Now it still comes with the same engines that you had with the earlier Endeavour. No changes mechanically, no changes electronically to the engines. So you still get a 2.2 litre diesel engine and a 3.2 litre diesel engine with a 6-speed automatic gearbox, which is the one that we are driving right now. Now, with no changes at all, you still get the same 200 PS of power output, and the generous amount of torque that it has means that the Endeavour never struggles to move. No matter what the demand is, be it high-speed cruising on the highway or you're driving in the city traffic, the gear ratios are again so well matched to the engine that drivability in terms of low speed, in terms of bumper to bumper traffic, or in terms of highway cruising is fantastic. You will never have a problem with that, and that's the reason why I believe that not having any changes to the mechanicals is perfectly fine. This is still the most powerful car in its segment, and 200 PS of power, well, it is a good number, and it will keep you entertained for a long time.
Now let's get to the most interesting part of the video, which is what you've been waiting for, the off-road thrashing. Now when we took the Ford Endeavour to the dunes, it was definitely going to be an exciting experience. Well, in terms of technology. The Ford Endeavour comes loaded with terrain response system, so that allows you to choose between various modes, and that alters the engine, the gearbox, the steering response as per the surface. So you can choose between gravel, snow, road, mud, and for desert all we had to do was, so we switched to sand, switched off the electronic stability control, so with the traction control off, and the tire pressures dropped down to about 22 psi, we were all set to go off-road. No need of 4x4 low in this, but just to let you know, the Ford Endeavour does come with the same. If you go off-roading somewhere else, you can use a 4x4 low ratio gearbox. Now coming to the part wherein the performance of the Endeavour is concerned on the desert, well, it was absolutely phenomenal. With the right input and a little bit of help from the trainers, we were able to get the Endeavour through some amazingly difficult dunes with ease. The Endeavour did not struggle much, and even though at places the angle of incline on dunes was quite a lot and a bit scary, the Endeavour managed all of it. Although some people did manage to get stuck, but again, pulling it out wasn't much of a task, and once again, and with the right driver and the right throttle inputs, the Endeavour just sailed over all of the obstructions we could throw at it throughout the course of the day in the desert.
So with all the action done in terms of off-road with the new Ford Endeavour, it's time to give you a conclusive statement on how good this car is. Now in terms of changes, well, it has gone on to become a slightly more premium looking SUV. It is already the most dynamic looking and the most muscular SUV in its segment. The cabin has now just got a little more premium from the earlier model. So these are all good changes. And the variant packaging too has been done more smartly this time around, with the comeback of the 6-speed manual transmission for the 2.2-litre model. So with all these changes, the Ford Endeavour continues to be a strong contender in its segment, and if Ford can price it well, which will happen in a couple of days from now, and probably you will be able to see the pricing by the time you see this video, there's a good chance that the Endeavour will be able to expand its sales number in the segment.